Hi there, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion topics are going to be anything you feel like talking about that's newsworthy, that has to do with racism, bigotry, and inequality. Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for being here. So bring it on. I'm going to just do a quick talk and go from there. Hey, Anna. Oh, I'm so happy you guys are here. Hello. There's an unspoken expectation, I guess, of Americans. There's an unspoken expectation of Americans that, like, our citizens are supposed to buy into this absolute sense of how great our country is. Hey, Keith. I mean, we're supposed to all be believers. And I'm not saying that our country is not great in a lot of ways, but what we have going on now is not our best. I need to say that. We have to be better than this. This has been just, sick. And I need to say that either. Hi, Philip. Yay, I'm so happy you guys are here. I think Americans are enculturated into this ideology that we live in the greatest nation in the world. And it's easy to forget that this is an opinion. I mean, it might be true, but it's kind of an opinion. It's not really facts. Most people have never even been outside the United States who live in the US. So it's this powerful indoctrination into our culture. And I'm guessing that even if someone's born wealthy here, even if someone wasn't born wealthy here or born with the privileged skin tone, that they wholeheartedly believe it. I mean, I kind of did. I kind of did when I was younger. And, the question is, if we live in the greatest nation in the world, and maybe we do, I guess it depends on what your values are, but we just have to be better than this. So that being said, I think one of the most patriotic things a person can do is to continuously strive to make our country better. And I know I personally get a lot of crap for that. I mean, people are always saying, oh, you're criticizing the nation, but I'm criticizing the nation because I know we're better than this. I think we can be a great nation despite our horrific, barbaric past. But if we don't aspire to that, then, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of my take. So I just think we can do better, like times a million. So for white Americans, understanding our real racial history will go a really long ways to supporting honest discussion on how our present and past culture of systemic racism have caused the divisiveness and pretty much all the problems that plague us today in our modern life. So it's definitely one of the most major things we can do better because it impacts so much. The purpose of the show, as most people already know, is to promote genuine and honest discussion about racism, bigotry, and inequality in a really heterogeneous setting. So if you are new to listening to this, it might be a little awkward, but we got to do this, uniting to find a peaceful solution to our divided nation. It's not going to happen unless we're a little vulnerable and speak openly, especially majority group members. So I'd appreciate anybody watching would help me to bring people on to talk about it. So let me just see here. Cynthia, I'm feeling really overwhelmed by the ramping up on police murders. Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, I cannot imagine. I mean, I know I'm feeling that way, and it's, yeah, what is everybody else feeling? What's everyone else thinking? It's terrifying. Philip, the police murders have always been here. Cell phones just make them more public. Yes, and you know what? That is a really great point. It's a great point. Philip, most news media is only for the cities they're in. Now you have CNN, more information. Yeah, absolutely. We're getting it from everywhere. So I know it's been this way, but boy, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it actually getting worse, or are we just hearing about it more? I don't know. It seems like it's, I mean, I guess we could go with statistics. That would be the only way to really tell. But I think it's definitely getting worse, but I mean, I don't know. Hi, Ernest. Thanks for being here. And Lakeisha, hello. Cynthia. Yeah, I'm not, Cynthia, thank you. You're not criticizing the nation. You're pointing out the systemic racism. It's blatant. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Cynthia. I tell them that, but you know what? At this point, the information is out there, and I guess people who just, it's ludicrous. People who fight it, they don't want to know. I mean, I've really come to that conclusion. They just don't want to know. Hi, Rosa. Hello. Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious. Like you said, it's so obvious. So anyway, I wasn't sure what everyone wanted to talk about tonight, but I have a couple ideas. So while you're thinking of some things you want to discuss, I'm going to get started off with, and hopefully this will just, spark some discussion. It might be a little edgy for some people tonight, because I do want to talk about the former President Bush's death. And I realized that, in the spirit of openness, I'd like to open by talking about that. Not disrespectfully, but just, a lot of people I've spoken to this week aren't feeling the sorrow that can accompany when a public figure or, a famous person dies. And I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about his legacy? I mean, I don't know if you all have been into history, a lot or a little, but, and Cynthia, I think that the statistics have not been put out there, and now we are focusing on what's happening. Yeah, well, of course, because the statistics. Hang on one second. We got to make a quick call for help, because I have been told my battery is gone. So I'm going to I guess I should just put help. All right. Because I have an engineer here who can handle these things. But I'm sorry for the interruption. Yeah, I mean, and Cynthia, also, historically, we haven't had the statistics available, because it's on a voluntary basis that police precincts are reporting, and they can skew the reports, they can not report. I mean, I've read a bit about that, and it's horrific. So I think finally something is happening, but it's very preliminary and hasn't been, going on. So yeah, you're right about that. Rosa, I think it's getting worse. Yeah. Philip, you think hearing more? And Twin, hello. And M. Gino, I hope I'm saying your name right. I never know. I adore you. Thanks for being here. We're just talking. We're going to talk a little bit about Bush's legacy. Cynthia, it's not sin. It's not a sin released, and it's up to the public to gather the information and true news stations to put out there. Yeah, it's not released because they don't want it released. I mean, and maybe Cynthia, clarify what you're saying, because I want to make sure I'm representing you correctly. Rosa, I don't honestly care that Bush is dead. He was privileged and had a good life. Yeah, I think that's a lot of what people are saying. Oh, it's not been released. Thank you, Cynthia. And it's up to the public to gather the information and true nations to put it out there. Yeah, and the problem is it's an overwhelming amount of information, and it's extremely important, Cynthia. And I really, really, I'm disgusted that it hasn't been a law on the, because we don't want to know, it's white supremacy in its ugliest. Because when we find the real truth of the statistics, it's going to be so much worse than they don't want to tell it. They don't want to tell. Hey, Anthony, they don't want to say. Thanks for checking in. You're a sweetheart. So yeah, you know, his legacy. Most people aren't evil or saintly, like, you know, one or the other. They're not the extreme, but we like to talk about them that way. I've read, the nice things I've read about Bush are that he was politically civil. I keep hearing that word, politically civil, over and over again. And I think that's great. I mean, he, you know, seemed nice to President Clinton and Obama and respectful, and he certainly had no love lost for Trump. But many are not willing to speak kindly of the dead, even on the eve of his funeral. And I think I understand. I think I get that. They feel that Bush was detestable as a president and as a human. And I mean, I'm really like A to Z with a lot of things, but it always being A to Z is usually an exaggeration, because no one person is, well, I suppose actually I have one person in mind who might be all something, but I won't say it. I do. Trump, sorry. Okay, but what I mean is, I think he did a lot of really bad things. It doesn't mean he's always bad, but these are really bad things. When you're in power, you can't be just okay. You have to be the best, and the best for everybody. And boy, people are pissed off, and they're not willing to sanitize the historical truth. So just a quick side note, do you guys ever notice that the same people who are willing to make all these revisions to reality after people pass away are the same people who absolutely refuse to have an honest discussion about our real racial history in the United States? It's like those people like hang out together or something. It's just an observation. Bush was a clown, Anthony says. Yeah. Cynthia, regarding Bush number 41, I wasn't very political at the time, but I have noted that what is being said is making him possibly better than he was. Cynthia, you and I are in the same boat in that regard. I was not political. I don't really think I'm political now. Okay, I'll just say it really fast. This isn't about, for me, I always say I'm not political and people want to slap me, but it's because this is about being human. I'm not into the politics part, because politics is kind of to me, it's really it's scheming, and I'm into the be human. So that's kind of my thing. But yeah, I wasn't into politics, and I still not. Anthony, his legacy is more tarnished than fake gold. Gary, hello. Hope you're feeling well, Gary. I hope you're feeling better. Anthony says, yep. Cindy, yay. Nice to, thanks for being here. We are talking about not pretending that Bush's legacy was just a beautiful one, and we're being a little edgy, but like I said earlier, we have to do this if we want progress. We can't just put off and put off. We have to talk about this. So again, I'm not advocating disrespect in any way, but I think a discussion is warranted about how our nation loves to make nice. And I, for one, think it's often a mistake. And I'm talking about euphemisms that we use to pretend what is really happening isn't happening by making it sound nice. I'm talking about, oh, don't talk about it because it just happened. I'm talking everything. And a lot of people I've heard are very, very not in mourning over his death. And it is what it is, but we need to talk about it. Cynthia, racism and races have always been here, but now it's condoned and embraced with the United States of America's presidential seal of approval. Absolutely. It is. Like, I always say this, and people kind of like are, be quiet, Kim. I always say we now have the de facto modern leader of the Ku Klux Klan. And it's because that's how I feel. Because I don't care if he says he's not. His talk's cheap. He lies continuously. People are looking to him, and he's in power. And he is the modern day leader of pure hate. So absolutely. Cynthia, yay. Rosa, I feel these people in power are very evil. We probably don't know half of it. And we have psychopaths in power. It's scary. Oh, God. I'm into that. Absolutely. I remember one of the first YouTube videos I did, I was like, this is insane. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why aren't people reacting? What's going on? This is truly madness. Cindy, I had a number of arguments about it. Yeah, and I'm going to get into some of the stuff, so I'm hoping you'll jump in. Oh, you're welcome, Gary. And Mike, hello, thanks for being here. Let me see. David, thank you for being here. Cindy, Bush Sr. advocated against the Civil Rights Act and only reluctantly supported the housing amendment. I know it. It's true. And that is the first thing. Cynthia, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. I'm not mourning his death. I'm just trying to live and keep my sanity. Yeah. I know we talk a lot about, this has been, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, and I can't speak for anybody, but I know for me personally, what I've seen from people who follow what I do and from my friends and just everything, I've seen this. It's like we're watching this giant trial that impacts us, and everything around us is being impacted, and it's scary, and it's like a worse nightmare because we have no control, and the people we expect to take care of us aren't doing it, and we need leadership, and it's not happening, and it's terrifying, and it's a very lonely place, and I can't imagine what it feels like for people of color and for people in historically marginal. I can't imagine. I literally can't imagine. Hi, Charles. Thanks for being here. Cindy, they tout his advocating for the Disabilities Act to hide his true anti-civil rights agenda. And you know what? Sad to say, I read a bunch about that, and it's not good. He apologized for, we'll get into it. An overview of his presidential history speaks to so many, why so many people are not mourning and actually detest the guy. They find it unconscionable and unforgivable. I mean, when you're in power, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And the first reason people cite for Bush, they think the first reason is that they looked at Bush as kind of the white gatekeeper of racism. I mean, when you're president, you get to say yay or nay to the country's culture, and he was saying yay. I guess when he was running for the U.S. Senate position, he came out against the Civil Rights Act, like Cindy, like you were saying, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and he put down his opponent, called him radical. He said the new Civil Rights Act was passed to protect the 14% of people, but I'm worried about the other 86%. It's definitely, Mike, I respect him as a former president, but I'm not mourning his death. I think that's probably where I'm at. Yeah, I think so. Mourn evil, Charles, mourn evil H. Bush? Nope. I understand. I have a couple family members who are, well, a little radical family members, but the country, Cynthia, the country is in a free fall because it's the United States causing the world to go crazier, and it's unbelievable. Right, we're supposed to be the leaders, but it's been a rude awakening, very rude awakening. And my only personal hope and prayer is that the bounce back is so hard, it covers forever. The bounce back from what he has done and what he's opened so many people's eyes to who are asleep. That's my only kind of way to keep hope. Lakeisha, we're showing him the same respect he showed our people. I understand a lot of people feel that way. I've gotten so much feedback this week Rosa, I didn't know all that. Cynthia, definitely what you're saying. And he's a white nationalist. He is or was a white nationalist. And if you ask anyone who's a pro-Trump why they're pro-Trump, they have no legitimate, oh, you're talking about Trump. They have no legitimate reason, and they don't want to say it's his racist self. Yeah, like I've been saying, you know, I don't like to be right. Well, I kind of like to be right, but I don't have to be right. I'd rather be happy. But I've been saying all along, he had us at racism. The white people who, that's all they needed to know is that he was a racist piece of crap. That's all they needed to know. Nothing else mattered. And I'm sorry, but that's the truth. And as much as I'd love to be wrong, from the very beginning, it didn't matter. They found the leader they've been looking for since the end of the Civil War. And they found who they wanted. So sad. Brenda. Hello, Brenda. Uh-oh, I lost my spot. Let me just find it again. Brenda, I don't understand why they acted like Bush was a god when he was a lousy president. Yeah, a lot of people feel like when somebody passes away who was famous, like you have to, I mean, I like to keep it real personally, and I get it. I think the biggest mistake our country's made is making nice. We make nice, and mostly it's the white people because they don't want the truth. They don't want the truth because that means that they have to take some racial responsibility. And at this point, God, we need help. Absolutely, Brenda. Gina, I don't mourn anyone in the Bush crime family, imperialists, all of them. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. Can we bounce back? Cynthia wants to know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a very good question. Anthony, this country is a burning wasteland. Hi, Brenda. Cynthia, there was a woman who said, but the Obamas liked him, and he was so kind to the Obamas. I explained that he had gotten his way. The Obamas would never have had the pleasure of company. Moreover, that if he had gotten his way, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. Moreover, what did she expect his behavior to be inside the White House? Right. So Cindy, I think you're essentially saying he was, as they said, a polite civil politician. So yeah, I don't know enough about it to know, but I know you are very, very academically well read, and I mean you're my genius, and so yeah, I believe it. Brenda, condolences to the family, but he was lousy. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Cynthia, I believe the Obamas are behaving and carrying themselves in the presidential manner as they were president, and first lady is just so stark different from the way Trump behaves that it appears that they are best friends. It's just different levels. I don't think the rest of it. They got it. They have to just, I get that. They're not going to make a scene, but we wish. But yeah, no, the Obamas are just the class act. It's kind of interesting. Night meet day. It's not even funny. Cindy, the country always deitizes the powerful in death. Yes, absolutely. And you know, we kind of do that with a lot of things. And I for one say we keep it real. We're not going to get better and through this if we keep doing this. Anthony, the question is, what did he do for the Black community? Nothing. Yep. Cindy, thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm speaking the truth. Philip, people who listen and know the truth about Trump are pro-Trump. I lived in the Bronx. I know how racist and dirty Trump really is. The fact that he's in the biggest the fact that he's the biggest coward there ever was, he is a white supremacist and former KKK member. Trump is and always will be the scum of the earth. 100% well, you said it great. That's the truth. And my God, this country has done a horrible, horrible thing by having him. And I know he didn't win the popular vote, but he won enough to get in. And I just hope it's not the biggest mistake in the history of our nation. And that is all I have to say. Okay, that's a lie. That's not all I have to say. Sorry. Okay. No, he's a snake in the grass, and President Obama knew how he knows. He knows. Cynthia, everyone sees what's happening. Just be real. And that's kind of where I'm at, Cynthia. I'm done trying to be like I ever did. I'm done. I just want to say it like it is. 100%. Brenda, this country is going down the drain fast. I'm trying to personally keep hope that Cohen flipping and admitting that the stuff about the Trump towers in Russia, that they absolutely were discussing it and planning it and doing it well into his, when he was elected and nominated and whatnot. And absolutely. And we need to see this nation is never going to heal if we at least don't see something huge happen. And what do you guys think? I mean, I don't think we can heal after what he's done to all of our people. He ran a campaign on basically trying to harm every single person in historically marginalized groups, all of the middle class and economically impoverished people too. I mean, it pretty much covers everybody. White America's been played the fool again, decade after decade, century after century. It's unbelievable. Charles, well, if Democrats had not rigged the 2016 Democratic primary against Bernie, then we would have not had this racist, Zionist, I think you're saying, bigoted fascist Trump as president for 4 years. Please don't say 4 years. Probably for 8. Please don't say 8. Since the Democrats are doubling down on pleasing their corporate donors above everything. Yeah, good points, Charles. We have some serious, we're really effed up in this country. We got some serious issues. Cindy, I read where Fox lauded Trump for behaving himself. The bar is now under the ground. Exactly. I mean, Cindy and everybody watching, I don't know if this is how you were, but like, I kept thinking like it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse, but then it did. And then it got, I don't get it. Yeah, the bar is under the ground. You can say that again. Rosa, Kim, what do you think about people who support Trump? How about people of color who also support Trump? Just real fast, people who support Trump, I'm appalled. I don't have anybody in my life right now who I'm friends with who supports Trump. I drew the line a couple of years ago, and I am privileged and I can do that. I work at home. I want nothing to do with anyone who would dare vote for somebody who has the gall to try to take away the civil rights of my own fellow citizens. And I want nothing to do with them. And that is from the heart. And I am so lucky I'm in a position to be able to do that. This gets me very emotional because I care a lot, and these people have done a sick thing. They've done a sick thing. So yeah. And to be honest, Rosa, you have a great question, but I don't feel it's my place to speak to, I'm not trying to cop out. Obviously, I think it's really sad and everything, but people of color who vote for him, it's heartbreaking. but as a privileged white person, I have no place to speak to that. I need to stay in my lane. I speak to white America. But it's really, what do you think? I can read what you guys think, because, you know, whoever wants to say, it's unbelievable. And Cynthia, yes, great question, Rosa. Thank you for that. Thank you for asking. Rosa, Cynthia, yes, Cohen, I hope his flipping makes a difference. I think it's going to. I think it's opened up a whole, yeah, I hope so. Cynthia, electoral college gerrymandering. Yeah, no, we got issues. We got issues. Lamarcus, hello, thanks for being here. Yeah, he stole, that's the whole thing I don't get, Cynthia, and everybody. He stole the election. Like, maybe we don't, I'm thinking maybe we don't have checks and balances as in places we think we do. Like, how can he still get to be there when, you know, like I say, like 27 other nations from 2004 on have had their elections interfered with by the Russians. It's not like a shock that we have it. I mean, 27 other nations. Yet Trump's like, oh, this could never be happening. I mean, the whole thing's, it's gotten ridiculous. The whole thing is just ridiculous. He stole the elections. Yeah. I've lost all the friends that support Trump, Cynthia. Mine went running away. They lost, Lakeisha, lost in their ways of racism and greed. Yeah, I've had to really, really search my soul. Like, I tried to educate people who were around me. They poo-pooed it. They didn't understand why I talk about racism so much. They just, you know, it bothered them. And it's unfortunate, because I'm not going to stop. Because systemic racism in this nation is the one greatest issue we have. I cannot think of anything that is not impacted by it. And I'm sorry, I'm not sitting around condoning it by doing nothing. And maybe I won't make a difference, maybe I will, but I'm not sitting around. So I lost a lot of friends too. And you know what? To me, and it's easy for me to say, I have privilege. Real friends would never dare to harm my fellow citizens and my fellow family, and my friends, my family, my people I don't know. I consider, you know, cousins, distant relatives. A real friend would never do that. So I've had to come to terms with, anyway, whole nother story, but yeah, I get it. It's been really, Anna, hello, thank you for being here. Cindy, that speaks directly to Black individualism and the fact that most of us cannot enjoy that privilege of individuality. Blacks who support Trump are individuals, period. Yep, and that's something I definitely want to talk to, you know, sometime about, because I want to understand what you're saying better about that, because I know I get to say, bye-bye white Trump supporting friends, you're evil. But I have privilege. And I might be in jail if I didn't, but Rosa, exactly. Lakeisha, Coons and Uncle Toms. Yeah, I know how that's a lot of how people feel about that, and I get it. Kathy, hello, thank you for being here. Anna, there have always been slaves that wanted to return to the plantation. Anna, I don't get it. I don't get it. How is it self-hatred? I don't know. I don't know. Rosa, it makes sense. Anna, they vote against their own interest. I mean, but, you know, it's kind of weird, because white people, see, here's the thing. White people who voted for Trump, in my mind, 1 billion% voted against their own interest. They just are too ignorant to know it. They don't get it. You know, the whole thing about the biggest fear of the elite who run our nation and who are wealthy is that the white masses will finally wake the hell up and see that they have a common plight with people of color, and that they've been doing the dirty work. They've been doing the dirty work for the elites, which is harming, horrifically harming people in historically marginalized groups. They're harming themselves, but they just keep doing it. Cynthia, it's horrible. People of color and the ones that have spoken out and said they voted for Trump, they want to try they want to try to school you? They want to school you? Is that what you're saying? Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't, see, for me, I've never heard a Trump supporter say anything that's historically or factually, or, I mean, it's not about politics for me. It's about being human. I mean, the other day I did a video and I was like, people ask me if I want to debate. You should debate someone who's a racist Republican. I'm like, what would I say to them? You're a jackass. You're a horrible human. I mean, it's all their stuff's based on emotion and fear that hasn't been legitimized through any factual base, and it's basically, it's all based on lack of humanity in my mind. So it's not political to me. So, but yeah, I don't get what they could school you about. Rosa, exactly. It makes no sense. None whatsoever. Lamarcus, not all people of color agree with all people of color, of course. And that's something that is really important for white America to understand. It's not a monolith. They are as individual as any people are. And if people who are white knew and had close friends that weren't white, had a single close friend that wasn't white, they'd know that. I mean, every friend I have there's no one the same, not one, not a single one. It's white America, 75% of white American adults don't have a single close friend who's not white. So how the hell would they know? It's pathetic, but yeah, of course. Charles, both corporate parties have their 25% bases, Team Red and Team Blue. 95% of the blacks support the Democratic Party. Fox News has a few black employees, but people know that a few black employees support Republicans. And yeah, I don't know what the stat is on that, but it's very low. It's very, very low. You know, Republican has changed over the years as well. But I personally, I won't go out of my lane and comment on that, but I don't get it. I don't get it. We got enough white people that I will comment about to last a lifetime. Rosa, exactly. Okay, there we go. Thanks. I over-scrolled. Cindy, we haven't been in democracy for a long time. Right now, we are a totalitarian government. Simplistically, this means all branches of the government are the same ideologically. We're also in a pseudo-dictatorship. The midterms decided that we no longer want to live in a totalitarian government. Yep. I'm really curious. Great point. Thank you, Cindy. I am just waiting to find out what's going to happen. I'm hoping the shit's going down. I'm hoping, but I don't know. We are a young country. We have such potential. I always thought America would be on the cutting edge of humanity, the cutting edge of all that is good. But the greed, with the racism, this has been eye-opening. I knew it's always been there.